My story starts long before I was born, back on a university campus in the Midwest. My parents, two students with their whole lives ahead of them, had a brief, fiery romance that burned out before graduation. I was the unexpected consequence, arriving after they'd gone their separate ways. My mother, an international student whose family cut all ties over the scandal of my birth, raised me alone. She was my entire world, brave, resilient, and my only anchor. My father was just a name on child support documents, a ghost from a past that didn't include me. Then, cancer stole her from me 2 years ago, a loss that hollowed me out. With no one else, I was sent to live with the ghost, my biological father. My dad had built a new life without us. He'd remarried a woman named Clara, and they had 2 sons together, Liam and Noah, who were 5 and 7. Moving into their suburban home in Illinois was like stepping onto a foreign planet. They were polite, but we were strangers sharing a roof. I kept to my room, a neutral territory they'd given me, trying to be as invisible as a 16-year-old kid can be. Then, about 10 months ago, I caught a break. I landed this incredibly sweet gig doing IT support at a local senior living community. The work was simple, keeping a handful of computers running for the residents and showing them how to video call their grandkids. But the pay, for a kid my age, felt like a fortune. I was on a casual contract, making good money for every hour, and the manager was awesome, letting me schedule around school. I'd even get tips in cash or homemade cookies from the residents. This is where, I'll admit, I made a tactical error. Instead of quietly stashing the cash, I transformed my bedroom into a gamer's haven. A new high-def TV, a killer headset, and the holy grail, a PS5, which I'd miraculously snagged after months on a waiting list. Obviously, my little stepbrothers, Liam and Noah, were mesmerized. At first, I was the cool big brother. I told them they could play whenever I wasn't using it, even bought an extra controller and a bunch of kid-friendly games to be accommodating. The rule was simple. I got first dibs. That changed after the juice incident. Little Noah, in a moment of 5-year-old excitement, baptized one of my controllers with a full cup of apple juice. So I instituted a new rule. They could only play when I was physically there to supervise. The whining to their parents began immediately. My dad and Clara ordered me to move the console to the living room. I refused, pointing out I'd bought every piece with my own money. That's when the goalposts moved. My dad argued that if I had that much disposable income, I should start contributing to rent and utilities. I saw the bluff for what it was. Sure, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Draw up a formal contract. I'll have a lawyer review it to make sure it's all above board with state family law. The look on his face was priceless. He backpedaled, promising the boys he'd get them their own PS5 for Christmas, a promise made in total ignorance of the global shortage. The final straw came last night. After realizing he couldn't find one for less than double the price, he cornered me. His ultimatum was brutal. Voluntarily gift my PS5 to the boys for Christmas, or he'd throw it in the trash while I was at school. The sheer injustice of it, the entitlement, lit a fuse inside me. In a cold fury, I went on a marketplace app and sold the console that same night. It was a clean, efficient severance. The boys found out this morning. Their devastated cries from down the hall are currently twisting my stomach into knots. They're just kids. They shouldn't be casualties in this war with my dad. Right now, my parents are having a hushed, intense conversation behind their closed bedroom door, and I'm holed up in mine, listening to the heavy silence. So, lay it on me. How could I have handled this whole mess better?
Hey, by the way, if you're finding this family drama as riveting as I find it stressful, consider hitting that subscribe button on the channel. It really helps us out. And honestly, I'd love to know what you would have done in my shoes. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Update 1. A crack in the wall. The response to my post was overwhelming. Thank you to every single person who offered support. It meant more than you know. This morning, before I left for work, Clara, my stepmom, asked to talk. It was the longest conversation we'd ever had. She was surprisingly candid. She told me she had no idea I even existed until right before I came to live with them, and the revelation had caused a massive rift between her and my dad. She apologized for taking that out on me and for not being more welcoming. She also had no clue about my dad's trash threat. She assured me that wouldn't happen again on her watch. Turns out the boys had confessed the juice incident to her. As a peace offering, she says she's getting the boys a Nintendo Switch for Christmas, and even offered to pay me the difference if I wanted to buy another PS5 at a markup. I probably won't take the money, but the gesture felt huge. It was a real human connection. Radio silence from my dad, of course. Update 2. The family pile-on and the dad's side. Things escalated at a big family gathering, the first one I'd ever attended. Clara, champion that she is, showed my original post to the whole expended family. It was like watching a courtroom drama. My aunts, uncles, even my grandparents all turned on my dad. My uncle, a longtime Redditor, basically dared my dad to tell his side of the story online, convinced the internet would vindicate him. Spoiler alert, it did not. My dad took the bait and posted his own version. He painted me as an ungrateful, rebellious teen hoarding a console, setting a bad example for his half-brothers. He framed his past as a victim of my mother, claiming he never wanted a child and that she'd set his goals back. He portrayed himself as the noble savior who took in a troubled kid. The internet saw right through it. The comments were a merciless dissection of his narcissism and failed logic. He spent the whole night glued to his laptop in the study, refusing to come out for dinner, getting more and more agitated by each new reply.
Update 3. The Unraveling. What followed was a rapid descent. My dad, clearly unable to handle the loss of control and public shaming, began lashing out in other ways. He posted again about grounding me for attitude, and then intercepting and eating a food delivery I'd ordered to my room. The community, recognizing his username, eviscerated him again. Clara vetoed the punishment. He posted another time complaining that Clara refused to dress to his standards for his work events, revealing his controlling nature about her appearance. The pattern was crystal clear. The final post came from him in a relationship advice forum. Clara had left him, taken the younger boys, and gotten a domestic violence order after he showed up at her workplace and her parents' house, causing scenes. He was finally facing consequences, potential job loss, legal issues, and total familial alienation. In a late edit, he wrote a pitiful, "I get it, it's over" message, claiming he would change. The final word from stepmom via me. Clara had been reading everything. She sent me an email to share to ensure no one bought his sudden awakening. She detailed 8 years of manipulation, how he tried to control her education, her career, her finances, even her coffee orders. He'd used his family's money as leverage against hers and hidden my existence by slandering my mother as a gold digger. She wrote, "This list doesn't even begin to describe the level of narcissism, manipulation, and control he had over me. I just want my kids and I to live our lives free of him." As for me, I'm okay. I'm staying with my uncle for a while. I've connected with an amazing extended family I never knew I had. Clara and I are on solid ground, and I've even traded gamer tags with my cousins. The storm that started with a video game console ultimately blew away the facade, and as hard as it was, the truth left us all in a better, clearer place. Disclaimer: all events, characters, names, and locations depicted in this story are entirely fictional and created for narrative purposes. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or real events is purely coincidental.